What is up, Cowboys Nation? Boy, Mike Tag here. Hopefully, you guys getting this weekend started, getting everything going, and enjoy it. Hopefully, the weather's good. We are closer and closer to the start of the NFL season. We are now under 100 days before the season gets started. I think we're at like 98. So it is just around the corner. You're getting OTAs. You're getting a lot of conversations, a lot of interviews. We're hearing from Shoddy. And I just got to tell you, man, I'm enjoying and I'm really like what I hear from him. I think he's got the culture mindset right. I think he's got the players accountability right. I mean, it has all got to be proven out on the field, of course, but he's saying all the right things. And it really seems like he's doing all the right things with his coaching staff. So before we get into Dak Prescott, make sure you guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. Hit that thumbs up, hit that like, hit the alert bell. We're doing live shows. We got some interviews coming up with some former Cowboys. So we're going to get you ready for this NFL season. And, this channel wouldn't be nothing without you guys. I'd be talking to nobody. So definitely appreciate all the support. But listen to a press conference. I was a little busy, so I'm behind. My daughter just graduated. My nephew, I want to give him a shout out, just graduated high school yesterday. So had a great ceremony. So I'm just getting caught up. And I'm watching ESPN, getting ready for work today. And they're talking about, Dak Prescott in the development phase. Is he still in the development phase? I mean, ESPN's running with it. So I'm like, man, what the hell's going on? So I look back and I listened to Shoddy's press conference. And of course, like all media does, they just kind of take one little excerpt and they run with it and they make it controversial and they make it, do the Cowboys believe in Dak Prescott? Is he the right guy and all this other garbage? And understand when you listen to the full context of what Shoddy said, all these players are in the developmental phase and process of the season. You're always developing. You're always honing in on your skills. You're always trying to improve. And that's it in football and life and anything else. I mean, in my job, I'm constantly getting training. I'm constantly honing my skills. I'm just constantly trying to get better every single day. So, of course, the media wants to try and take what was a positive thing and turn it into a negative because it surrounds and involves Dak Prescott. And as a Cowboy fan, it's kind of tiresome. But it gives us something to talk about, and it's definitely a lightning rod for opinions because you're either team Dak or you're team hate Dak. You can't be in between. And unfortunately, for the ones on either side, I kind of fall in between. I mean, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback for this team right now. He gives the Cowboys the best opportunity to get to the playoffs and win a championship. Now, can he do it all by himself? Yeah, not so much. There's maybe two quarterbacks in this league that can do it by themselves, and one's named Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the few. And Dak Prescott's not Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think he needs to be Patrick Mahomes, but he can be Dak Prescott. Dallas Cowboys can win with Dak Prescott. They've proven to win with Dak Prescott, but when you get to the playoffs and you get against the best of the best, you need to have balance and you need to have, a running game. And unfortunately, a lot in the playoffs, the running game hasn't been there. And that's put more pressure on Dak Prescott. And Dak always used to say pressure is privilege. It ain't been too privileged to him because he hasn't been able to perform at that level under that kind of pressure. And that falls on him. I mean, it's a quarterback. So you can be pro Dak and you can be critical of Dak in certain situations. And I think that's fair. You get these guys that absolutely bash Dak Prescott and he can never do no right. But yet they're also the same ones that defend Tony Romo. So, I get into that with people, and I love Tony Romo. I got a Tony Romo jersey sitting up in the man cave. So I love me some Tony Romo, but Dak Prescott and Tony Romo are probably almost identical in their careers. And you look at Dak Prescott's numbers, and they're all talking about, can Dak Prescott look at him? Is he going to be the same quarterback? Understand, he got injured last year, and that's obviously anytime you're coming off an injury, that's going to be a concern long term. But he was just a second in MVP in 2023. I mean, some people talk like this guy's trash. He's a top 10 quarterback without a doubt in the NFL. He is one of the top quarterbacks in the NFC without a doubt in the NFL. And I'll argue he's the number one quarterback in the NFC East, without a doubt. I know some will say Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts has Saquon Barkley. And that makes a big difference when you have that kind of running game. And if Dak Prescott can get 75% of that running game that the Eagles have, their season is going to be phenomenal. So I don't get it. I don't know your guys' opinion. I know it creates a lot of noise and a lot of drama, but looking at what Dak Prescott has this year, and we've talked about it on our live shows, and if you ain't been on the live shows, you need to get on the live shows because the chat is really what the live show is all about. A lot of fighting in there. We got our share of haters and Eagle fans, and they love going to watch some Cowboys cave. So we definitely appreciate it. But looking at this team on paper, this is going to be, one of the best teams that he's had offensively. Obviously, having CeeDee Lamb at the level he's at, there was Amari Cooper and there was CeeDee Lamb, but CeeDee Lamb he was still young. We're talking at the level he's at now. He is far and away the best receiver that Dak Prescott's ever had at this point in his career. Then you bring George Pickens, who George Pickens is probably what CeeDee Lamb was in year 1 or 2. He's there, got the potential, but he needs to take it to that next level. He's kind of like that 1A wide receiver, has the ability to be a dominant wide receiver, has shown it. Has not had the best quarterbacks in Pittsburgh, but this guy's dynamic. So this is the best 1-2 punch that Dak Prescott has had at this point in his career. Now the running game, he had Zeke at Zeke when he was at his best, and that's going to be hard to duplicate. So I'm not thinking he's going to have the running game that he had with Zeke in 2016, 2017, 2018. But I think they're going to be pretty damn good. I think they're going to be, like I said, 75% of that we'd take it. We would definitely take it. I think Blue is going to be one of those dynamic guys as that change of pace. I think Javonte Williams is a guy that he's been hurt. So you're going to have that question mark, but when he's on the field, he's going to be, he's productive, and he's a physical guy, but he's got enough speed to do some breakaways as well. I mean, I've watched him in college. He's only 24 years old. I watched him a lot at North Carolina. Didn't see him as much with Denver because I'm more of an NFC guy, but my brother's a Broncos fan, and he had high things to say about him when he's healthy. I mean, obviously injuries are a problem. You got Miles Sanders, you got Maffa, who they also drafted, who I'm very familiar with, again, because he played in the ACC with Clemson. They've got a young stable of running backs. They're tight ends. You saw what Schoonmaker was kind of able to take that next step last season, especially with the injury to Jake Ferguson. And you got Jake Ferguson coming back. So collectively, with the talent they have, throw in Turpin, you're going to have Mingo, who he can really be an X factor if he can produce at the level that he did in college, and you got him as your 3 or possibly 4, that's going to be pretty damn good. And same thing with Tolbert. And like I said, I mentioned Turpin is an absolute dynamic playmaker. So this is going to be one of the fastest. This is going to be one of the most dynamic offenses that the Cowboys have had. The question again is going to be up front. Is this offensive line as good as what's over my shoulder and that great wall that was there with Tyron Smith and Zach Martin and that crew? Yeah, probably not. But they're young and they've got a lot of potential. You've got Tyler Smith, who has been a perennial Pro Bowler and All-Pro, since the beginning of his career, and he's entering his 4th year. You've got Guyton, who's coming off a rookie year. You hope he takes that next step, but being asked to be a left tackle as a rookie is a lot to ask. So hopefully he takes that next step. You've got Beebe, who was phenomenal at center in his rookie year. He's going to elevate and take his game up to the next level. You've got, Booker, the rookie they drafted, highly touted, one of the best, probably the best guard in the draft. He's physical, he's nasty, he's mean, so he's going to be there. You've got obviously Terrence Steele coming off and the injury from 2 years removed, showed a lot of improvements as the year went on last year. But now what you've got is depth with Hoffman, with Bass. You got Richards. They signed a couple free agents as well with the offensive line to give them more depth. So this offense from top to bottom, depth-wise, that was the Achilles heel of this team. Depth-wise, they're a lot stronger. They're a lot stronger at every position with depth. Maybe not at start end, but with depth, they're definitely stronger. So the offense is going to be much improved over last season. The defense is the question we've talked about. I'm not going to get deep into it because this is about Dak Prescott. But with Dak Prescott, give him the time, give him the running back, give him the running game to help the play action, to help the passing game, and the passing game will even help open up the running game. It's going to be hard for defenses to stifle this offense. They're going to have their work cut out. Now, the Cowboys got a tough schedule. Make no mistake about it. They're going to have a tough schedule. They got some tough stretches in there, and it's going to be critical for Dak Prescott coming off an injury to get off to a fast start. This offense needs to get off to a fast start because if you look at that middle part of that schedule, when you get into the tail, where you start to get to that end before Thanksgiving, into Thanksgiving around there, you've got a murder's row of games, and the Cowboys are going to have to pocket some of them wins early and often. Get out to a fast start. That way, if you do, asking to beat the Chiefs, beating the Eagles. Now, thankfully, those are 2 back-to-back games, one on a short week, but they're both home. So that's a little bit of an edge for them, but that's a lot to ask. You're playing the 2 Super Bowl teams on a Sunday and a Thursday. You get a little break, and then you're going back in against the Vikings. I believe that's Sunday night if my schedule's right in my head, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's going to be a tough stretch of schedule for these Cowboys. I think you got the Lions maybe the week before the Eagles or 2 weeks before or whatever it is. So they're going to have to put away some wins early. Dak Prescott in the OTAs looks good. He looks fit. He looks trim. Don't see any signs of that injury being a factor with the hamstring. So I'm expecting great things from Dak Prescott this season. And this team goes as far as Dak goes. Just like with 99% of the other NFL teams, you go as your quarterback goes. So I don't understand where Dak Prescott is held at a different standard. You don't really hear much, about this with Lamar Jackson. You don't really hear much about with Herbert. You don't really hear much about this with other quarterbacks that haven't made the Super Bowl or had the success to get to the Super Bowl than Dak Prescott. And like I said, Mahomes, I give him the kudos. He's one of a kind. I mean, he's definitely the quarterback that everyone wants to be like at this level of the game and his point of his career in this generation. He's this generation's Tom Brady. He's this generation's Peyton Manning. He's this generation's Brett Favre, Aaron Wright. You go down the list. He's that kind of guy. And, Dak Prescott, he needs to get that Super Bowl to cement his legacy with the Dallas Cowboys. Because at the end of the day, you're judged on Super Bowl rings as a quarterback. And right or wrong, I don't think it's fair. Totally, because you got to criticize Dan Marino for not winning a Super Bowl. Jim Kelly didn't win a Super Bowl. Bernie Kosar was a good quarterback, and he didn't win a Super Bowl. You have so many quarterbacks in the NFL that weren't able to hoist that Lombardi that were Hall of Fame type players. But that's what you got. And Dak Prescott, well, he can hold all the Dallas Cowboy records, and he can be the all-time leader in every statistical category at the quarterback position, but he's never going to surpass Troy Aikman. He's never going to surpass Roger Staubach unless he wins rings. And I was plural when I said it. I didn't say why. Rings. I mean, you got to win rings. And I think with this coaching staff, it's going to be interesting. You saw the numbers of first-year coaches with the Dallas Cowboys. There's been a mix of success. Barry Switzer, he went to the NFC Championship. They're come off back-to-back Super Bowls, so maybe they underachieved or maybe they were where they need to be. Bill Parcells, another legendary coach, came in and took this team to the playoffs. But first-year coaches, Chan Gailey was able to do it as a first-year coach, get the Cowboys to the playoffs. But then you had the Dave Campo who had – didn't have much to work with. So I hate to give my man Dave a hard time, and I'm not giving him a hard time. They had nothing to work with when he became the coach. But typically the other first-year coaches, Jason Garrett, not a lot of immediate success. So there is a learning curve. Now, thankfully, with Shoddy, he's been on the staff. He's familiar with the players. So there is some familiarity with him. And then you bring in Eberflus as a defensive coordinator, seasoned defensive coordinator that has a resume of success at his stops in Indianapolis and in Chicago on the defensive side, not head coach. We'll give his defense some love. But that's kind of where it's at. So I'm expecting big things from Dak Prescott, which equals big things for the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, I'm in it to win it. I'm a fan. I'm not in here to sit there and say, oh, we're going to win 5 games and this is a rebuild. This isn't a rebuild. There are no such thing as rebuilds in the NFL anymore. This is all about winning now. And there's a reason why you could take the Washington and they can get to the NFC Championship within 1 year. Those 3-year plans, that's long out the window with the way the NFL is today. So give me your thoughts. Let me know if your boy's crazy. We'll be back live in the cave. We are back on our regular schedule. The graduations for Kelly, Jimmy Dee, myself, that's all behind us now. So we are getting into that mode. It's getting into football mode as the summer gets started because it's going to be a slow time, but we're going to mix it in with great interviews, great shows. So make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like, share, all that other good stuff. Appreciate you stopping by the cave. Have a great weekend. Hopefully the weather's good where you're at because I don't know if it's going to be good where I am. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.